My friends, this is a great time to become a channel member. Every week now I'm posting uncensored videos exclusively for my channel members, along with custom emojis and live streams for members at the Arch-Villain level where you get to talk to me directly. Please consider supporting this channel by clicking the link in the video description and joining us in our fight to save pop culture. And also, check out our Patreon and subscribe star pages for exclusive content you won't find anywhere else, including Harvey Cthulhu's insane podcasts, photos of my vast toy collection, and members at the Legionnaire level receive a signed photo, membership card, and certificate signed by me. You'll find the Patreon link in the video description as well. Thanks for watching, my friends, and now on to the video. Greetings, my friends. I am Dictor Van Doomcock, the future ruler of Earth, broadcasting from my hidden base at the center of the Earth. And I'm here with some staggering news to share with you about the latest Hollywood failure that may well prove to be the ultimate Hollywood failure, a failure that may finally spell their doom. Information is starting to emerge indicating that Hollywood may have tragically miscalculated in putting all their resources into turning away from traditional audiences, like all of us, and instead pursuing the modern audience, whatever the hell that is. Indeed, with the passage of time, it's becoming clear that the entire concept of the modern audience may have been fictional all along. The modern audience is still at heart human, and human beings like to be entertained with good stories. And you know what else they long for? Fun. They want to watch entertaining, fun stuff like we grew up on, and guess what? That is what they're turning to, my friends. Yes, in significant numbers, Gen Z is turning away from the woke crap that Hollywood is churning out in a desperate attempt to appeal to these younger viewers, and instead, they're watching old TV episodes, like Star Trek, like Gilmore Girls, like MASH and Mary Tyler Moore, and I am not in the least surprised. The TV shows of the past were demonstrably better on average than what's being produced by studios today, and what does this say about Gen Z and about Hollywood for that matter?
I think it's like Depeche Mode says. People are people, and despite all the gaslighting and brainwashing and social engineering Hollywood is trying to do, people still respond to comedy that's actually funny, to characters rather than political points, to engaging scripts written by skilled writers. Looks like maybe pandering DEI crap isn't enough, even for Gen Z.
It's fascinating, Harvey Cthulhu, because over the past few weeks, a number of articles have appeared detailing how Gen Z is rejecting this latest Hollywood fare in their wisdom and turning instead to take refuge in the warm embrace of the past. In an excellent piece on Yahoo Entertainment, they published an article titled, "Forget Outer Banks. These Gen Zers just want to watch MASH and Gilmore Girls. Why young people are obsessed with shows that were made for their parents." And in this article, they do a detailed breakdown of the viewing habits of a number of Gen Zers they interviewed, and here's some of what they found. Quote, "Nostalgia TV, that is, shows that were initially released more than 10 years ago, are more popular on streaming services like Netflix, Disney Plus, and Prime Video than nearly all of their shiny new programming. A 2025 digital iTrend report released in October found that series that began airing in the 2000s like Grey's Anatomy, Supernatural, and Gilmore Girls have been viewed for far more hours than current crazes like Stranger Things or Wednesday. The reason why Nostalgia TV is so popular might seem simple on the surface. These shows are familiar to longtime fans who just want to throw something on, but older shows from the 2000s and earlier are captivating members of Gen Z too. When I posted a TikTok in search of young fans of older TV shows, it received more than 900 comments, unquote. And now we come to another very interesting fact. As I've said many times, my friends, Hollywood made a huge miscalculation by alienating and insulting older fans, trashing franchises and targeting young viewers because older adults serve as gateways to franchises that we're fans of. But when we stop watching, the gates are closed. And that is fatal for the future because, as it turns out, younger viewers love these old shows because they were introduced to them by people like us, parents, uncles, aunts. In alienating us, they screwed up bad. The Yahoo article continues, quote, "Dozens of young viewers whose last names are withheld so they could speak freely about their rabid fandoms tell Yahoo they were introduced to these series by their relatives and now return to them in search of comfort for a longing for a time they didn't experience." For nearly all of these young fans, their passion for older TV shows was passed down from their parents, like antiques or old stories, shared on couches at dinner time and through worn DVD box sets. Amanda, a 14-year-old who lives in Georgia, watches a lot of the same TV she always has, but now, alongside her 13-year-old daughter Elise, who prefers Gilmore Girls, Friends, I Love Lucy, Designing Women, and Golden Girls to newer fare. Elise is a bit of an old soul. She prefers DVDs to streaming and has a cell phone, but doesn't use it much. This delights Amanda. She has been educating Elise in pop culture history. She quizzes her daughter on the older music they hear on the radio and the actors who pop up in the shows they watch together, unquote.
Yep. Looks like Doomcock was right again. Instead of alienating all of us, targeting the mythical modern audience, they should have included us, realizing that we would introduce our younger family members to franchises like Star Wars, like Star Trek, but they drove us off, and they lost a generation.
But it goes even deeper than this, Harvey. This is amazing. Gen Z isn't just attracted to the shows their parents watched. They're going back to granddad's shows, yes, to the golden age of television when it was at its peak entertainment. Here's what the article says, quote, "Some young people aren't just nostalgic for the eras that their parents lived through. They're going even further back than that. When Sophie wants a little lift, she puts on vintage sitcoms like The Dick Van Dyke Show or The Mary Tyler Moore Show. The 22-year-old graduate student who lives in Texas says they remind her of a simpler time before television's turn towards the dark and intense. No one seems to be hanging out on TV anymore, leading fans of chill, familiar comedies to reach back into the vintage TV archives in search of comfort. Mary Tyler Moore is certainly no Euphoria after all, unquote."
And so, these shows are being passed down from generation to generation as part of the oral tradition, as you used to say, like old tribes used to do. And they learn the cultural references and they pay it forward. And this is what Hollywood could have taken advantage of if only they hadn't had this idea about a modern audience, which really doesn't exist.
Yep, I think you're right, Harvey. Folks, people are people. And it seems that Gen Z is just as starved for quality old-fashioned entertainment as we are. They're turning to the past to find it, and in this way, Hollywood has lost a generation of viewers by alienating all of us. What does it say about your DEI world when young viewers are returning to horror of horrors, the problematic past, when men were men, women were women, and things were a lot nicer, a lot simpler, scripts were a lot better, and comedy was unfettered by the shackles of wokeness. Hollywood, I don't know if it's too late for you to turn back. It may well be, but if you're gonna do it, now would be a really, really good time, because it's just like I said, alienate us and you alienate them. From the center of the earth, this is Dictor Van Doomcock bidding you all, my friends, stay angry. Ha 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 ha